believe that we started recording right in the middle of 2020 with all of the COVID and lockdowns going on around us, unable to meet up. So like many a young gentleman, we turned to the internet for our entertainment. Tried to find a place where we could meet up and talk about the good, the bad, and that time that Stu saw a pelican on the canal. In order to facilitate our dreams of answering all of the big questions in film, and after a few attempts at recording via other methods to various levels of success, we found Zencastr, a super easy web-based one-stop shop for recording. Log in and you're ready to record in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take a tech genius to get high-quality audio or video. And on top of that, the one time we have had an issue, the fact that the multi-layered backups are stored locally means it's easily fixed all in browser. There are plenty of tools you need when you start podcasting, so let Zencastr take that headache away as it offers a place to record, edit and distribute all from one website. Any lazy bones Jones can pick up and play and have studio quality audio or 4K video put out for the world to see when using Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CAGEFIGHTING and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And now, hit the music.
I feel the need for speed.
Hello and welcome to Cage Fighting, Cruise Control. It's your main man, Andy Gillard here. Hope you're all keeping well out there right now.
With great power. Hello everyone, back again.
Hi guys, hope you're having a good day.
Ash, you don't sound very enthusiastic because I'm going to say nothing for like the next 10, 15 minutes and just leave it to you two guys to discuss Spider-Man. I've got nothing of interest to say. I've not seen it. I won't be seeing it. So just, I might go for a shit and you two can just crack on if you want.
So, I mean, without saying, I mean, there is spoilers amazingly in this, so we'll not touch on the obvious.
Jean Grey?
No. I think that if you're casting a small ginger,
a small redhead, like it's kind of obvious, yeah.
Yep.
Although it did surprise me because I'd completely forgot about it. So when that moment happens, and you look at it, I thought, that doesn't look like Sadie Sink. And then her name comes up on the file, and people did go, oh. But you got to, like, not everyone lives online today, so you got to remember, like, some people it is a shock to. And what surprised me yesterday was the amount of people that were not. I mean, there was a few legacy people like us who've been in the trenches for the last 5 years and stuck through it all from the very start. But there was a lot of people, like 20 to 30 in there, who, and no phones out, no whispering, no talking, impeccable. Full, no, even the front seats and the two disabled things in the middle, completely full, sold out. Not a pin drop. It was perfect, amazing performance, better than Odyssey the night before. But let's just say, from the words of Mr. Frank Miller, the most Ditko movie yet, and with my hand in it for all to celebrate. This fan's dream come true. Tom Holland is my forever Spider-Man, as romantic as he is heroic. Congratulations to Destiny and the whole team. Mr. Frank Miller saying that, not me.
Yeah, but Frank Miller made Dark Knight fucking Returns, so... Yeah.
As well as like excellent stuff as well. I think the first half of it is probably the most accurate Spider-Man we've had for me. The second half of it is MCU film 38. I still prefer, and we're not going to talk about this for an hour like we did like 2 years ago, No Way Home. I mean, I watched No Way Home on Monday as well, just to refresh my memory and to see if the whole thing, was it just a nostalgia bait? Is it going to be a different second time round or third time round as it was? And no, I love that film. This is a better film than that is in its own right. You don't need too much homework. That how they used Punisher in a kind of PG-13 way compared to what that film, that mad 50-minute special was earlier in the year. The complete opposite thing. You like a completely different character altogether, but it worked. And it was a thoroughly good time. And I thought you look at the state of what some of the things have looked like over the last few years, and we've slagged it off more than anything else, and how the CGI's kind of turned into a kind of deleterious effect on them, really. And you expect the worst, but the effects were perfect, like spot on. You see, like the money spent was as good as like, what you guys talked about last week about the Odyssey and how shit the Doomsday trailer is. I'm not watching it. You're not going to trick me. The CG in this was class. Like, for a change, it was really good. And 2 films in 2 days featuring 3 of the same actors was very weird.
3. I know we've got Holland, Bernthal, Zendaya, of course.
Yeah. Tom Holland looks older in this than he did in the Odyssey. And no Tom Holland slander here. I thought he was great in Odyssey, to be fair. Yeah, I was very impressed. I had a great old time. And this was more entertaining to me than the Odyssey was. However, obviously that is like, it is what it is. It's the classic film versus movie, one after the other, 2 days in a row. They could both be up there for very different reasons. This is not a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, the best MCU movie ever. It's not that at all. It's probably his best Spider-Man film on its own right, if you don't take all the nonsense, the nostalgia stuff about the last one. But yeah, I was surprised. I really enjoyed myself. Dean said the same thing to me today. He's seen it. Josh is watching tonight as we record now, so I don't know about him. Goldie obviously doesn't care. You don't care. Ash was sitting in darkness when we started this before he put these lights on. So I'm guessing he didn't have as much time as me, but who knows? Go ahead.
It was okay. It was a film. I'm obviously a lot harder to please in that sort of sense. I've said to Andy, I think it's 5th or 6th in my live action Spider-Man rankings. It's never touching 1 and 2.
Raimi's 1 and 2.
Yeah, Raimi's 1 and 2.
Just
never touching.
Just to clarify, there's been 3 1 and 2s.
Yeah, they're nowhere near. I like the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, and then it's a toss up between this and Nostalgia Bait the movie. But obviously the cartoon ones, they clear. Now, I didn't enjoy myself because I thought it was bloated to fuck.
How long was it?
220.
Long. And you felt every minute of it. Like, compared to the Odyssey, where I didn't realise that we'd been going for 3 hours, I felt like we had been going for 2 hours.
Yeah, I agree with that. I felt my leg cramping up in this last night than compared to the Odyssey.
Yeah.
No, I'm at 42 though, so.
Like, I just felt like that he was hitting on too much stuff at one point. Like, you have Peter and Frank and their little get together. You've got fucking Peter and the girl from The Bear, their little relationship as the police officer. There's fucking.
That's who she was.
You just realise where she's from.
Oh, it was pissing me off, and I couldn't. And of course, it's the one who she teaches. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You had him missing Zendaya and Ned. You had bloody the Scorpion fights. It's like Scorpion's here. We're just jobbing out another one of his big villains just for nothing. Like, okay, cool, whatever. Even though there's not really a villain. Again, it just didn't flow as well for me. Hulk's there because Hulk's there. Cool. Hulk's been treated like shit for a long while now.
That's so frustrating because Mark Ruffalo is probably the best actor in the MCU. Like, it's 1 and 2 between him and Downey Jr. I think they're just fucking tremendous actors. And you kind of think, if you've got someone like that on staff, why not use them a bit better?
I don't think they can they? I think it's a Universal property.
Oh, okay.
That's why we haven't had a Hulk movie since God knows when.
The cameo, the cameo in it irked me to all hell. Because why are you there? Apart from just showing your face, why are you there? And
who was it? I'll blank it out, but who was it?
Yeah.
That's been doing the rounds on fucking Twitter anyway.
Oh, okay.
Actually being called well.
Okay.
But
I will blank that though, just in case anyone hasn't seen the thingy. But yeah.
But that scene we're talking completely technicalities. But when he's getting into the thing.
You laughed. You laughed when he had the mask still on.
It's nonsense. Isn't it? But also that we're getting into the weeds here. The house was not happy with that VFX because that VFX was very, very shoddy. Because you could just tell where they'd green screened it. Very
Which
bad.
one?
When he's getting into the pool, you can tell where the mask and all that sort of green screen there not works. It's not working.
It worked fine for me.
No. That's uneducated eyes.
I wasn't looking at the neckline of the mask. To be fair,
that's what I mean. We've got educated eyes in this household. Like I was told that didn't work. So, and that's coming from the Marvel of nonsense.
The one thing when you said about Scorpion, in Fantastic Four when they had the montage of the good bits.
Yeah.
I was saying, when they
say what good bits.
when they were showing like the battles and stuff.
Yeah,
it was like that, but the Scorpion had some other massive guy. I don't know who that was supposed to be.
Tombstone.
Is that was Tombstone? Okay. Yeah. I don't know what the point was of doing that. Really,
is Scorpion in his Sinister Six? Is Scorpion in the Sinister Six?
It's in one of them.
I think so. Yeah.
Why are we jobbing out one of his Sinister Six? Put Tombstone as your main villain in that sort of for the role that Scorpion played. Why are we jobbing out one of his bigger rivals? It irks me. Like, I'm not a big Scorpion fan, but even I know he's a bigger villain to him than Tombstone. There's another one in there that they've just sort of cut out as well, and I can't remember who it is because literally you see him for about 5 seconds.
And
it's just like.
Someone cheered. I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
But it's the rights thing. This is a Sony film as well, so these people have to like, if you're going to do this, give us this, and
it didn't.
It wasn't as bad as the other stuff.
No,
like it felt more like a Marvel film than a Sony film for the first time.
It didn't flow for me as much, and I argued this before last night that there wasn't a bad guy. There wasn't a villain. Like, okay, Jean Grey is doing villainous things, air quotes, but there's a reason for it. Whereas, and I linked it to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Scarlet Witch is doing evil things for good reasons, but she's actually doing evil things. She's slaying motherfuckers. Whereas Jean Grey was just possessing a couple of people, talking to people. She doesn't kill anyone. She doesn't even touch anyone. I know Jean Grey doesn't, but that also means that there's no villain and there's no jeopardy in that sense. And it's kind of like, it takes me out of it a little bit. Like, you need somebody to go up against. There's no stakes. There was no stakes in that sense. It felt,
that's what I meant with the second half of it, really. But that this is obviously setting up Doomsday and then the stuff to follow afterwards more than, which is why I like the first part better, because it was more of a spot. It was more of what we've known of this so far. And on that checklist that I said yesterday morning about the things, but this is going to be MCU 38 rather than Spider-Man 4. It was both in the same film, which is why it was 2 hours 20 minutes long. I thought it's not too far. The end part, that was good, and the fact that they used almost scene for scene, like fight scenes from the games, was pretty cool. And I'm
a fan of those games, so that's pretty cool that they've incorporated that. And
like how they've all got like shock attack in the first one, and like that's in this, like explained. Okay. And then like he's fighting them as you like when you go, when you clear the rooftop gang things. Yeah, and like that. It was like scenes like that in the film. It was great. And like when he's fighting, fighting the hood as well, that was good.
I'm not convinced that would work in a film, but visually, I mean, I suppose they are video games, aren't they? Let's be perfectly honest. Like, they don't really have much going on outside of just scraps and stuff like that. So, I can sort of see why they would include it. And they're so wildly popular, why wouldn't you try and get more sales of those games?
I will say as a positive, though, Sadie Sink is a fantastic actor. Like, she clears this entire film. She is the best thing in this film by an absolute country mile.
And that's what I was trying to get to earlier when I was kind of seeping it in about supporting actresses. That performance in that film was as good as Sam Morton. Saying, you know, he's not going to believe it, but he was, wasn't he?
She was very good.
I do think she's a good actor. I think, like, of all of the Stranger Things, like, I feel like she's probably the one who's going to have the most longevity. And, like, she seems to be a lot more clued in, you know, her own production company. I'm sure she's producing the musical that she was a big part of and stuff like that. So I think she's going to be, I think she's going to be huge throughout Hollywood over the next 30, 40 years. Like, I can see her being a mainstay around these things. I obviously can't speak to the quality of the performance in this, but she's a very talented human being.
I think if they've got the rights as well, and they've got the bollocks, they've set themselves up for a very good storyline as well. With you can block this if you want. The inhibitor.
Nah, fuck 'em. With who? Sorry,
the inhibitor chip.
Oh, right, okay.
He invents an inhibitor chip which is universal and can stop mutant powers. So he's going to get a lot of mutants killed. So if they want to, they can do a very fucking good X-Men. Spider-Man's the reason. Magneto could fuck him up.
Well, as soon as when he was talking to Banner about it, and he was saying, "But which part do you choose, and should you do this?" And I thought, "Oh, we know what you're doing here."
Mm-hmm.
That sounds more interesting than anything. Actually, like morality rather than
it was. That's what I mean.
Crashy bashy nonsense.
It was for all the fun bit and the bits with these wank webbing, which is going to be meme to fuck, I presume, eventually. And that was funny. But especially after he took the piss out of whichever one.
Peter 2.
It was Peter 2, wasn't it? Yeah. In the last film about how it comes out of you, and now you have it because he's going through this crisis. But there was more about being a normal film and not just explosions and CG and stuff. And then you had explosions and CG and Punisher not swearing too much. I thought, you know, when you said about him being not trying to tone down the New York, he went the opposite way in this. Like way more New York in this than any other series.
Excellent. Okay. I mean, this sounds like something I may stream because I do like Spider-Man as a character.
Oh, you will?
I have absolutely no interest in going to watch a 2-hour, 20-minute film that chances are I'm probably not going to like. It's a 1.5 speed kind of a movie, I think, this one.
You need to watch Punisher One Last Kill, though, if you haven't already.
Does it feed directly into it, or is it just a case of it just adds a little bit more?
It kind of gets
into it.
No, it's not. But it's 50 minutes long. It's great. It's like The Raid.
Compare it to Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas, because that was brilliant. Like, I enjoyed that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's nothing like that.
It's nothing like it. It's the complete opposite way.
Okay,
it's
but quality-wise,
yeah.
Okay, fair.
Violent as fuck as well.
Okay.
I saw somebody put online that he came out of it with his kid, and his kid said, I really like Punisher. And the dad said, shall we go home and watch his show? Oh, yeah, crack on. All right.
Okay, excellent. We'll leave it there. Some Nolan chat to round off the month up next. Welcome back. So we've been threatening it for a while. 13 films. Did you want to do top 10, or do we just want to say where we think each one will go? I think what we'll do, we'll go through each one individually first, and then maybe just do what you want, whether you want to give me your 1 to 13 or however you want to work it. But obviously, Chris Nolan's been around for quite some time now. We are looking at very nearly 30 years worth of work. The first film that he did was a micro-budget neo-noir called Following, which I think is like, in Hitchcockian terms, it's his British era, because after that he becomes kind of international. It doesn't take long for the pendulum to swing just completely the other way, from doing quite independent films to something that garnered quite big acclaim. Stu, you've seen Following, haven't you? So it's quite a weird one because it's so raw and feels so handmade. I know it was made for less than $6,000. So like micro budget doesn't even begin to cover it in this one. Mm-hmm. But I think he does a cracking job of like creating this, as I said, this neo-noir atmosphere on this absolute nothing budget. I think it's a very solid introduction, and like for a director to come out with something that good, like that's almost unheard of. Yeah,
the acting's shit.
Yes,
but it looks for what it is, and it's on YouTube anyway, for free. You don't have to pay. It looks fantastic. considering the budget. It's hard because this is obviously the worst one of all of them, because it has to be. But you can see, not like the short film that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I think that was kind of craziness. But yeah, it's like what hour and 10, something like that. It was fine. It was okay. You could say if Michael Bay had done this, it would probably be the best thing he's ever done. But for Nolan, it's bottom of my list. However enjoyable it is.
That's fair. Ash, did you get around to this one at all?
I watched about 5 minutes and I just didn't get into it, and then you get distracted at that point, and I'm just kind of like...
That is the problem with it.
Yeah, because like Stu said, the acting is a little bit shoddy. It feels like he's just got his mates in to do a job because he's got a script that he wants to run some tests with. So it doesn't feel like a proper film as such, but it's still a master at work, or it's a master right at the beginning of his career. So it does have the watchability just as a curio rather than as like an actual good film. I mean, it's still a solid enough watch. If and when you sort of get into the swing of how it works, you will enjoy it. But it's a bit more challenging than like everything else. I think you can sort of hit the ground running with. This one, I feel like you need to be a little bit more grounded in the Chris Nolan worldview before you can really get this one, potentially. But as I said, he followed that up then with 2000's Memento, the revenge thriller told in reverse. Follows a man with short-term memory loss hunting his wife's killer. It was a critical sensation. Bold, clever, structurally audacious. This is the moment that his reputation breaks out of the chrysalis almost. Using time as a weapon, storytelling as architecture, protagonists trapped inside their own minds. This is very, very Christopher Nolan's auteur. It's, if you were to describe a Chris Nolan film, you'd be describing Memento before probably any other one. Ash, you've seen Memento, haven't you?
Long time ago, but yeah.
What are your thoughts on that one?
I'm trying to remember exactly. It's the Guy Pearce one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And Joe Pantoliano, who is also brilliant in it.
It is decent. I think it's a good first one of where he's going to go, but like you say, it's going in reverse. It kind of get blended in with Tenet now. So, but I say I feel like these sort of the early ones, they're sort of okay. When I know what I'm starting to get at, and this is where we're going to go, and obviously we get better. But Guy Pearce is superb, as always.
Yeah. I remember being at uni and like it was a big thing about that film that's shot backwards. And I remember people talking about Memento, and it was well before Chris Nolan was the name that he was. So it's kind of amazing now looking back, thinking that was the start of this quite epic journey into godhood almost for Christopher Nolan. Like there aren't many people who I think breathe the same air as him when it comes to directing. Stu, anything you can think of in this film that sort of didn't work potentially? Because I know that like emotionally, it's not the most resonant with a lot of people, this one. I think it's kind of cold. Because obviously it's all about murder and killing and figuring it out. And the characters, they're not emotionally resonant. How does that fit for you at all? Or is that not a concern when it comes to Memento?
Well, that's exactly what they are, but that's the point, really. They're all awful people. And the whole... I remember getting this. I bought this on DVD at the time. So it was one of the first ones, like with Deep Blue Sea. Been the first one. This was in like the second wave of things to buy. Same. I was at uni. I think I watched this about 2002-ish, 3, something like that. And I've never seen anything like it before. I think probably Pulp Fiction's probably the only thing you could kind of say that's similar in the 3 acts in different ways out of sequence, but. Something like this how do you even storyboard something like this? Fucking madness.
Yeah, apparently, like he did storyboard it, and he had like all of the colour ones going one way, and then he put interstitial black and white ones which were going forward. Because obviously, that is then how they edited the film together, wasn't it? So I'd love to see the actual prints that they'd done for that, because that must have been an incredible sight.
Because there was what's it called? Beyond Two Souls, the game with Ellen Page. I never played it because I didn't. All the reviews like slammed it after. It was the same one as Heavy Rain. I think it was their third game, maybe, or second or third game. But eventually, that was out of sequence as well as a game. But people hated it so much that they made it. They did a rehash of it, and then you could play it either way. You could play it in chronological order now, or as it was originally intended. It's probably on Plus anyway. You can play it on there. I never have. But it was obviously when Ellen Page was Ellen Page. But that kind of thing was not the given at that time, especially then. And you think even that was 10 years after that. And I think I've only seen it twice, ever. I watched it once and I thought, I don't need to watch this ever again. This is a masterpiece. And then I watched it and I lent it to my cousin Kim, who, funny enough, lives in Edinburgh, as we were talking about earlier. Never got it back. But yeah, she was like, I don't know what this film is. I went, I don't think that's the point. You have to have a critical. You have to concentrate with this, and that's like the same with all Nolan films. But Memento is a masterpiece, and I don't think there's any criticism from me anyway whatsoever. And I've got we'll get onto it after, but I ranked mine 10, 9, 8, 7, and then the following up bottom, in blocks of 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, and there's 3 or 4 in each group. I've got this in with Tenet.
I've had done similar because number 1 is very much number 1, but then 2, 3, 4, 5, on any given day they could be completely different because they're all such incredible pieces of art. He followed that up then with his first studio movie, which feels very un-Nolan because he doesn't really work within the confines of a studio, but this was a film where he showed the world that he could. This is Insomnia, with Al Pacino as a detective losing his grip on the endless daylight of Alaska, chasing Robin Williams. I really enjoyed this film. I think it's got some really good performances in this. Especially for early Nolan's work, I think he's probably got some of the best performances that any actors have given him. But also he has got Pacino and Robin Williams, who are 2 of the best actors ever. So I suppose that does make sense. Because it is constant daylight as well, it is so unsettling because this is almost a noir film as well, but with noir you expect it to be nighttime. So he just completely flips it on its head. And I think it makes it the least Nolan-ish film. But in doing that, it proves that he is, a master of all, not just elements here and there. I watched it again last week because it's the one that I probably haven't seen for the longest. I thought, actually, this is still a really good film. It's not much of a Nolan film, but it's still a very good movie. Stu, have you seen Insomnia?
I watched it last week. And I thought, I haven't seen this. This is the one that was on the list, and I thought, I don't know what this is. And about 10 minutes into it, I thought, I have seen this before. A long, long time ago. And I think it was that kind of same thing that he was. I watched it with. I think I watched it in halls. I never stayed in halls, but I was there all the time. I think I watched it there with my ex, and because we watched films. This is the kind of stuff I watch anyway, like crime thrillers and stuff like this. So I didn't remember anything about it other than the bullets and stuff, and the dog, poor dog. But other than that, it was almost a blank slate, which I was kind of pleased with because I really liked it. And I thought, yeah. And when I put it on and the Cinco thing, his production company name didn't come up at the start. I thought, what is this? Is this the wrong one? And then it just says a film by Christopher Nolan. I thought, okay. But yeah, it's good. But obviously, it gets better.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And it doesn't take long before it gets better, much better. Ash, have you seen Insomnia?
Yeah, it's my go-to for when Robin Williams isn't family friendly. Because he did
1 hour photo?
1 hour photo as well, didn't he?
I enjoyed that as well. That's a good performance.
But these, I think they came out around the same time as well. And this was after Jumanji and Flubber and
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire, and then he's bringing out and he's performing like this, and I always go back to this as his he also plays a killer as well. It's this is his show. This is good actors being well directed.
Yeah, very much so. And so, like, this film did quite well. And as I say, it's a studio movie, so it's one that they had a script for, and they just needed a name to come in and direct it. They chose Nolan. And his reward for doing that, he was given the chance to adapt Homer's The Iliad, titled Troy, as it was at the time. And then it turned out that I think it was Wolfgang Peterson was interested in directing Troy. So they ended up taking Nolan off Troy and giving him this superhero nonsense, Batman Begins. So had it have actually gone through and he have done the Iliad / Troy, we probably wouldn't have got the Odyssey, and we probably wouldn't have got Batman Begins. We'd have had like a different, well, like it could have gone so far the other way. And like, how fortuitous was it that this came along the way it did? And yeah, 2005's Batman Begins, the grounded reboot of Batman after 4 films of mixed quality, if I'm being polite, and then a decent enough gap to try and forget about some of those films.
Nice.
Then comes back with this exactly. It comes back with this ultra realistic version of Batman, a man who is, to all intents and purposes, just a detective who happens to wear kinky clothes. Like, you just wouldn't necessarily think there was much of a link between that and the actual comic book versions of him. But I would go as far as saying that without Batman Begins and later The Dark Knight, that we'll get to, we aren't where we are now in a 38, 39 films coming out later this year MCU. Like, it does feel like this is foundational, one of those bricks alongside the Raimi Spider-Man and probably the X-Men. Well, this is a foundational piece of art in what works. And it's such a weird film because it's an art house movie. It's not a comic book movie. It's just that it happens to feature a comic book character. It's an art house film that, if they'd have changed it around and put non-comic book characters in, most people would probably not give it the time of day. So it feels like the perfect storm, and for good and for bad, it's given us a lot following it. Ash, 2005, how old would you have been then?
I would have been just 15.
Fuck off. That's atrocious. So 15... So obviously you'd have been at school. What was it like? Because me and Stu, we would have been university at this point, so different world. How was it received, like, by the younger audience at that point? Because comic book films were always seen as like the realm of the nerd, the geek. So it's a little bit different with this one.
The problem is, I was sort of an in-betweener without the thing. So I wasn't in the cool kids. I wasn't in the nerdy kids. Like, I was just trying to get laid. Like, I was 15.
Trying.
Well, I'm being figgy. I'm being polite. So at this point, if I weren't going to Wolves games, I wasn't. Apart from Shaun of the Dead, I wasn't really watching. I wasn't really doing anything else in that sort of sense. So we didn't really get it. So it took a while for me to watch Batman Begins. I think I watched it about a year or so before The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Yeah, my school shit. It was wank. If you didn't like football and you didn't like fucking Base Hunter or something like that, you got roundly mocked.
Base.
Where in the world were you in 2005?
I would have been Chester.
Oh, still in Chester. Fair.
Yeah.
Stu, do you remember this one coming out at all?
Yeah, we went to see it. I can't remember who I went to see it with now. Yeah, I mean, it was, again, no one knew who Nolan was, even after watching Memento. And it was like this gritty reboot. I thought, okay, fine, we'll give it a go. I remember coming out being pleasantly surprised. I was like, yeah, that was good. And not thinking anything else of it for ages. I think it did the same thing though, like before The Dark Knight bought the DVD, which I know I did because I've got the special booklet that came with it as well, the art book. And it took me ages to buy it on Blu-ray. Just because I thought, well, I own it anyway. I'm never going to watch that DVD again, am I?
I've got it like 4 different times on Blu-ray. I've got like several different special edition versions of it.
Same film, no change.
Yeah, no difference. It's exactly the same. It just, one comes with cards, one comes with a Batmobile. Like, yeah, I just buy it because it's out.
Yeah, and I think the whole thing of it, oh, this is not what we are used to. This is not Adam West. This is not Bat Nipples. This is something completely new. and for the better at the time. But yeah, I thought it was a good, solid film. I think I appreciate it a lot more now than I did at the time. Yeah, just absolutely solid, perfect.
I think this is the film where he got name recognition in the wider world, because after this he then follows it up with The Prestige, which is, I mean, it's a pun to say it's magic, but it absolutely is. Like, as a film, I think it is top tier work. And like 2006, and it feels like if that was released last week, I would still believe you, because it feels so fresh and it looks fresh. And like we've spoke about a bajillion times on here, practical effects, about how authenticity makes you believe in these things. And The Prestige does something so far out of the realms of what we've come to expect from Nolan, up to this point at least, that it feels so big, so much bigger than anything we've seen from him at all. I'm not a fan of Hugh Jackman, as we've established several times. He's got some good films in his filmography, though, and I think this might be his best one. I think it's his best performance at the very least.
Not Swordfish.
Swordfish, fucking hell.
Who do you hate more, like Tom Holland or Hugh Jackman?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
No, that was the obvious one to say. That's what I was saying.
The problem I have with Tom Holland is that he's just not a very good actor. Hugh Jackman is a good actor, and he's wasted so much of his career doing dog shit, and that infuriates me more.
So Ryan Reynolds is the answer.
Ryan Reynolds is the answer.
Yeah, the Prestige was a massive mistake. I watched it 2 years ago. I couldn't, but I was, if I could beat myself up, I would have done, because it is superb. And I'm still kind of amazed how underground it is. Like, you talk to people, just normal people, they don't know what it is. Even now, like, you saw Prestige using it on Hugh Jackman. Oh, okay, I'll have a look at that. Like normal people have not heard of this film still, which is bizarre, considering how good it is and who's in it and who it's made by. But maybe it's just one of them things, and maybe it needs to stay that way. It can be ours.
It's not going to get spoiled.
Yeah, because it's an absolute masterpiece.
It really is. I think it's got some of the best, because I know he gets a lot of stick for his the women in his film. And I think you could probably make an argument, especially up to this point, the women haven't been the strongest characters in any of the films. Oftentimes, like Memento, they're just there to drive the story, because the woman in that is dead. So I get it as an argument. But Prestige, Scarlett Johansson and Rebecca Hall, I think are just fantastic in it. Just both of them are brilliant. And obviously Jackman gives one of his best performances of a lifetime. Christian Bale is someone I've always got a lot of time for, and he's tremendous. So it feels like it's both the actors kind of film, but also the visuals and everything. And I've even forgot to mention David Bowie. David Bowie wasn't a great actor, but he was great in this. It's the best performance he ever gave in any film. Like, he was fantastic in it. Absolutely love the Prestige. I think it's one of my favourite, like, cinema experiences. I just remember being completely absorbed by it.
It's one of those films that you can't watch it for the first time again, because once you know what happens, then you know what happens, and it's sad that you can't go back and not know what's about to happen. And they're great, them experiences.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like this one has a lot of rewatchability in the way that maybe Memento doesn't. Like, I feel without the trick, Memento loses a little bit of steam, whereas The Prestige, you're looking for the sleight of hand, because the whole film is a magic trick. Yeah. And I think you're looking for it in this film. So you are right, like, you just want that initial shock again, but at the same time, it's still rewatchable as well. 2008, we moved on to The Dark Knight. The first time an actor was given an award for playing a comic book character, I believe. So that'd be Heath Ledger's Joker. It's gone on to become one of the most iconic performances of any actor in any movie ever made, I believe. Like, he's become synonymous with that character, who has had a lot of interpretations over the years. So for that one to be quite as outstanding is just incredible. And it was the IMAX sequences. This was like the first time I remember hearing about IMAX. I didn't know where IMAX was, but I remember hearing about, the scenes for this film that was shot on a complete different camera. they could only make 3 minutes of film on an IMAX camera, and then they'd have to pause for 25 minutes to reload the fucking thing. So this must be incredible. And I kind of hate the fact that I've never been able to see this film in IMAX because I don't know that it's ever been on for me to see it. But if and when that day comes, I'm very much looking forward to it. My minor quibble with The Dark Knight is it's a little bit too heavy-handed. Like, they do sort of keep bringing back the morality thing, the them or us kind of thing, a few too many times. But I feel like I have to be uber critical to say anything negative about that film because there's not a lot. Ash, what are your thoughts on The Dark Knight?
The only bit that sort of thingies me out a little bit is the sonar big screen with that's Dark Knight, isn't it?
Yeah.
That bit kind of I don't really care that much for that. But apart from that, it's a damn near perfect movie, isn't it? Really is.
Yeah. Stu, what do you think of Harvey Dent? Because we spend a lot of time with Harvey and not a lot of time with Two-Face. Is that rushed, do you think? Or is that like on purpose?
It's probably on purpose, and like less is more with the limitations at the time still. Because it looks a bit shoddy now, that effect. But I think that's the point, because you don't want... You run into the too many villains problem if you have too many of them all the time. The film's about the Joker, not anyone else. So him just being there and there being this side thing that's happening, and it makes sense to me. I mean, if you want two villains like Batman Forever, then you've got that, and go and watch that and look what happened there. This is in my top 10 ever. So when we get around this in a bit, you know where this is going to be. Like if he'd said Dance with the Devil, it would probably have been a number one film, but...
Fuck off.
No, I've got nothing bad to say about it whatsoever.
The only other bit, and it still tickles me, it more tickles me than anything else, is when Harvey Dent's laying in the bed, and
he doesn't know.
And he doesn't know it's the... Just tickles me every time.
Yeah, that is ridiculous, isn't it? He then followed that up with one of the most audacious films I think I've ever seen, 2010's Inception, a heist movie inside a layered dream world, blending action, philosophy, and emotional grief, praised for ambition and originality. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. The first time you see the world fold over on itself, or when Elliot Page pulls back there's that mirror that pulls back, and there's no cameraman in the mirror when he pulls it back. Like, I don't get how they do any of it. It is incredible, this movie is. I remember just being blown away, and I remember seeing it at the time, and I was like, I think that might be the best film I've ever seen. I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's up there for him now still, don't get me wrong. I'm not quite sure I would put it in my all-time top 5, but it's probably not far out of it in terms of like actual quality of every element within it, the visuals, the acting, the script. I think everything is very well done, and it's a long ass film, but much like The Odyssey, it doesn't feel like a long film. And it's one that I've very sparingly dropped it in maybe twice since watching it. So is it 2010? So yeah, I think I've probably seen it 5 years later and then 5 years on again, because I just don't want it. I don't want to like take the sheen off it as a movie. It's just marvelous. Ash?
It's top 2 in my favourite Nolan films. I love Inception. I absolutely adore it. Like I say, visually, it's just stunning, and I think the ensemble cast of this one is just they all work together. They all gel together. Like Hardy and DiCaprio in this together, they just bounce off each other. It was Ellen then, but Elliot now. She's superb in it. Just Ken Watanabe, fucking Pete Postlethwaite, and he's
just a great actor.
He's
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Cillian Murphy. Like, I forgot he was in it until seeing this. Like,
he's Pete Postlethwaite.
Marion Cotillard.
Pete Postlethwaite's his dad, isn't it, in the film?
Yeah. Michael Caine. Like, it's just it's one of his strongest ensemble casts, probably until The Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's just, he's building up his roster here, isn't he, at this point? These are the people that he just trusts implicitly. Stu, we probably haven't spoke about Leo DiCaprio quite a lot on this podcast over the life of it, but he's up there with Tom Cruise. Like, he's more arty, but he's just phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine what would have happened if he could fit on that door. Legendary. He is. And just because he refreshes every 25 years, it doesn't matter. Man's got taste. But he doesn't care, does he?
Legal.
Yeah, exactly. No problems there. Jared. From Subway, for legal reasons. He's class, isn't he? Like, I can't think of a bad performance from DiCaprio. Even shit films he's in, he's good in.
Mm-hmm.
Like The Beach.
Yeah. He's still very watchable in that film.
Yeah. And then that's probably why we haven't talked about him, because there's nothing to say. There's nothing to criticise him about, because he's just good all the time. Mm. But he's not even, like, he doesn't stand out in this film in Inception because everyone is excellent, or, like, everyone. And, like, it's in my top 3, like, obviously. Mm-hmm. And, like you, I've only seen it 3 times. The same reason, like well, I remember when Lost finished, I thought, I only want to watch this twice ever again, just because I don't want to be ruined. It's almost getting to that Lost itch. It's ready to be scratched again. But this is obviously better than Lost, obviously. We need to get clarification on what to say with the whole Ellen Elliot thing, because obviously it's a dead name, but at that point...
We call him Elliot Page, because, like, I know IMDb, it lists him as Elliot Page, and it will say, was Ellen, for this role, because credited as. So, but, like, his name is Elliot, so I think we refer to him as Elliot Page. Yeah, I believe that's the way to do it, because that's how IMDb do it, and like, they seem to be the font of all knowledge when it comes to listing names and stuff like that, I think, with movies.
No, that's fair. I can test this theory out. I mean, I've got, like, I can ask Brad. Let's see what he says. But yeah, Inception is. I think that's why certain other films afterwards didn't land as well, because where'd you go from The Dark Knight and Inception? Mm. It's like I mean, obviously he does, but which is astonishing in itself. But to go from films like that to then expect something else to be as good as, it's pretty high bar to jump over, and it's. Mm. I can't think of many directors who would even come close to that. Not in such a short space of time, anyway.
No.
As a 1-2-3 punch, The Prestige, The Dark Knight, and Inception. Yeah. That's outrageous.
It is. And I think you make a good point, Stu, because the next 2 films, he tries to remain as big as the films that have preceded it, and he doesn't quite achieve it. I mean, for one of them, he definitely fucking doesn't achieve it. But the next one up is Dark Knight Rises, 2012. It's grand. It is overblown. It's very operatic almost. I do like it as a film. I saw it 4 times in the cinema on the opening weekend. I do love the movie. But I think when you're coming off the run that he's come off, the pacing was too uneven. And there is quite a sag during the middle of it when there's no Batman, when the bat's been broke. It does struggle to keep up the momentum of the film. Like, when you power through, it's still a great film and stands on its own. But just off the back of what's come before it, you can't help but be a little bit disappointed.
Did you go to the 6 a.m. showings?
I didn't. I think it was 8 a.m. was the first showing that we had around here.
Was it 8 or... No, I can't remember now. It might have been 8. I remember I worked them, and we had over 100 people going to that, and there were people literally in suits because they were going straight to work after.
I'd booked the day off. Yeah. Like, I'm not missing this. But yeah, Ash, a letdown doesn't feel right because it's still a very good film, but how do you describe The Dark Knight when you put it in context of the run of films that he's doing?
It's in the wrong place. If that came second and Dark Knight was the big finale, it'd be perfect. There's nothing wrong. There are things wrong with that film, but as a movie, there's nothing wrong with it. like it's a solid 7, 8 out of 10. It's just it's like you say, it's come after The Dark Knight. Nothing's coming after The Dark Knight. I liken it to The World's End. It's come after Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Nothing's coming after Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. If you switched them around, if you put that second and Thingy third, it'd be arguably one of the best trilogies ever.
Stu, what do you think about the clean slate ending? So, like, they effectively set up Robin. Bruce goes off to Italy, or does he? Is he really dead? Like, they basically leave it that there's no footprint left from what's happened. And I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that as an ending. How do you feel about it?
Yes, brother. It's why I don't like it. I don't like this film. I've never liked this film, not once. And I always said, like, Batman Begins is like an 8, 9. Dark Knight's a perfect 10. This is a 7. And it's probably better. It's better than a lot of other superhero films, obviously. It seems to betray itself by being all saccharine, like pointless. Like, no, this is not this world. You needed something else. I mean, it might be studio stuff. You don't know, do you really? But the whole Nightwing thing would have been nice afterwards. And I'm kind of glad that we never went back to it, really.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, I need to watch it again, and I need to give it another chance. Really, it's been a long time, but I think I was just disappointed, like really disappointed, and it wasn't where but again, it's like you've been disappointed on something that you expect and not what you get. And
That's fair.
But then when I watched it again, I was like, well, it's not great, but it's not bad. But no, it never resonated with me, this film. That's why it's like, is it third worst? Even that saying third worst, I mean, it's a 7. Yeah,
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Like bottom 3 for me, this is.
Wow.
Up next was Interstellar 2014, a cosmic odyssey about a father crossing galaxy to save humanity. This is Nolan's, after years of being criticised for like lacking emotion within his character, this film was just fucking all emotion, to the point that I think this is a terrible film. The third act of this film is absolute dog shit. It is such a fucking mess. And for a film that has a cast of Damon and Jessica Chastain and Anne Hathaway, I should be fucking eating this up. Hans Zimmer's score in it it's up there with some of the best scores in any of Nolan's films. I think this film's a mess. The way that the physics, like it prided itself on having actual physicians on set to work out the physics of how it works. But then Anne Hathaway's character says that love is the only thing that transcends dimensions of time and space. No, it doesn't. Love's not fucking real. Like, you can't talk about the reality of things and then talk about nebulous nonsense like that.
That's such a Doctor Who answer.
It really is. And it feels very Doctor Who-y. And it's just got a massive budget. I really think this film is such a fucking mess. It's probably the worst one of the lot, had it not been for the bad acting of following for me. I just think it's terrible.
9 out of 10. He's obviously completely wrong, isn't he? Again, in the way that I never liked Dark Knight Rises, I always liked Interstellar. And the first time I saw it, I think that's what Project Hail Mary kind of gave me back again, like that awe. And you look at it, what the hell? Moments. Again, no spoilers because it's old, but still. But there was, it's not perfect. But as a moment in time of watching that film and being like spellbound by it, and yeah, it is a bit much at times. But so is Armageddon. I know this is a better film than Armageddon.
No,
Armageddon is more entertaining, but this is a better film.
I mean, it's Michael Bay versus Chris Nolan. Like, I expect Bay stuff to be a bit shit, and it gets an allowance.
You've never even seen Armageddon? Shut up.
No, I haven't. But I mean,
exactly.
You know,
how have you never seen Armageddon? What are we? No,
yeah, I've told
I do like Affleck,
over and over
so
again.
I should. But like, if and when I finally get round to it, it will be graded on a curve against Bay's other films.
It doesn't need
and
to
I
be.
think when you put this against the rest of Chris Nolan's movies, it's just not good enough.
Armageddon is better than Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, wait.
I'll take your word for it, but I find it hard to believe. But I will
You know
take your word for
what you should do? You should watch Deep Impact first, and then watch Armageddon.
it. Deep Impact, the Morgan Freeman one.
Yeah,
I have seen that a long time ago, but I have seen that one.
and watch The Core as well.
Ash, where do you sit on Interstellar? I know where you sit because we spoke about it the other day, but tell everyone else.
It's not. I'm not as big of a fan of it as seemingly Stu. It's just watch Gravity. Gravity's a much better film.
Yeah, definitely.
The heartfelt moment, the second heartfelt moment doesn't kick me, but when he's watching the kids grow up, when what's the kid's name? What's the lad's name? Famous lad, Wonka.
Chalamet.
When Chalamet turns into Casey Affleck, that's quite a thing. But apart from that, yeah, Interstellar's not for me. It's just meh.
I don't want emotions when it comes to Nolan's films. I want story and plotting, and I want it to tell me something about me, not about these other characters I don't really care about. Maybe it's because I saw this, like, in the grand scheme of things, not that long ago, like within the last 3 years, maybe. Like, I was a later arrival to this film, and it's just not working for me. Again, maybe it might be one that if I saw it on the big screen, that maybe make a difference, because the visuals are great. I can't knock those, but the story and everything, and the mess of Matt Damon's character. From that point on, when we meet Matt Damon, I'm just checked out of the film. It just didn't work. What did work? 2017's Dunkirk. World War II survival film told across 3 timelines, land, sea and air. I expected to not enjoy this. As I've said several times, war films generally don't do a great deal for me. I have slowly disproved that to myself, because this did. I thought this was excellent. The tension at the end when all of the timelines are sort of converging together and you've got all the people that are in that barrel trying to hide. And I just think the way he ramps up the tension in that is just phenomenal. I'm really surprised at how brilliant a movie this was. The second highest grossing war film of all time, and deservedly so, I think. Absolute masterpiece of a film. Ash, you quite like a good war film. Where's Dunkirk on your list?
Not that high.
Really?
No. Well, I've been spoiled with All Quiet on the Western Front. That will always be near the top for me. I love that. I love that movie. And Band of Brothers, which
Doesn't seem either of me either.
I know. But still, it's fine. But there's just better. There's better out there. And there's nothing to say. There's nothing against what he's done. What he's done is brilliant. But I say, when you're against other things which are just near perfect, it's just not as good. And I can't get Harry Styles out of me. Right.
Do you know? I thought he was decent in this, but then when you see him in the one with Queen Flo, he's fucking abysmal. Yeah. I can't remember what that one was called. Don't Worry, Darling, was it? It just wasn't good. Stu, you said about how we got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we had Rises and Interstellar, which were 2 massive swings to try and top it. Dunkirk, I feel, is a smaller scale story, even though it's obviously about a massive world event. It feels more contained to the people on screen. So I think that's what worked for me. How do you feel about that?
I mean, just to check, Don't Worry, Darling was that 50s set thing, wasn't he?
In inverted commas, yeah.
Yeah, not great.
She's brilliant in it, because she's just brilliant, but yeah, it's not a good film.
Me and my brother went to watch this, and Dunkirk. Not really knowing anything about it other than obviously the story, the overall story about it. And it was deadly silent from start to finish through all the credits. And then even afterwards when people were leaving and no one spoke a word. You think, yeah, there's your respect. Just as grounded as you can possibly get at the time. I think Ash is probably right with All Quiet on the Western Front, which came later, which is better. A better film. It's a better. Hang on. It's a better war film than Dunkirk is. I think Dunkirk is a better film altogether overall.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
But yeah, it's on Netflix here, I think. Or quite on the
It's Netflix original, I believe.
Yeah, it was Netflix original, but it got a limited cinema release.
Yeah, because I remember that was a projected jobby for me. I thought, I ain't watching this on telly. But yeah, Dunkirk was one of them. It was powerful. And going from where you were to this, to Dunkirk, was, complete night and day. Unbelievable.
What are you saying, Ash?
It was just when it got announced, All Quiet on the Western Front was getting the limited release. It was come on, we're going to cinema. What is it? Doesn't matter. What's it about? Doesn't matter. We're going. Prepare to read.
He then followed that up with one of his more divisive films with Tenet, spy thriller built around the inversion where objects and people move backwards through time. It was very mixed reception at the time. I remember on the podcast, Matt hated it and we didn't. I feel like with a little bit of space, it's not one of his better films, but the visuals, the Boeing 747, just the fact that we do have scenes running completely backwards. Unusually for me, it's a vibes-based film that I actually quite like. Generally, I don't like if you're pinning everything on the vibe of the movie rather than the actual plot of it. It generally doesn't work for me, but it did with this because I actually like all of the pieces within it, and I think that made such a big difference on this one. Stu, I remember you being a massive fan of this one at the time.
Yeah.
Still the case?
Yeah, maybe even more so. When I watched it the second time last year, we mentioned it with Memento, and we mentioned it with Inception, and Tenet is weird. You can't see anyone else pulling off. Not to the extent with the budget and the spectacle of it all, and for it working. You could see indie stuff doing weird things all the time, but not to this on this grand stage. Mm-hmm. And to do it 3 times over. And Interstellar has got moments like that as well. But then the 3 are just no one else is doing that stuff. And Tenet is. I remember one of the few times when I thought after about 10 minutes, I thought maybe I should have watched the trailers for this. I don't know fucking clue what's going on. Going in as blind as possible was a bad mistake for the first half hour of that film. But maybe that added to the fun of it all. That you said, oh yeah, this series is literally unraveling like this. I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, again, no one else is making stuff like this. And nowhere near to this level either, if they are.
No, I agree. It's definitely one I feel like I need to watch it again. So I think I watched it at the time and not since. And that might be what's hampering me a little bit with my memory on it. Ash, are you a fan of this one?
No, not really. Well, I've said it so many times, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. It's literally the backwards episode from Red Dwarf. It literally is, and I just that was the problem. I could not get it out of my head all the way through. I was just like, yeah, I've seen this because Red Dwarf did it first, but obviously not to this scale. But this was the big first film back after the lockdown, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was. And I think that's why ultimately it didn't quite hit the box office it expected it to, because a lot of the cinemas just weren't even open for it. But I kind of like that the first big swing that they took was a Christopher Nolan movie. I think that's kind of cool.
That was quite fun. That was that time where you have to wear a mask unless you're eating popcorn. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, so that was the only time I was like, well, I'm having popcorn then, aren't I?
Yeah, just sitting there like one kernel a minute. Idiots.
He followed that up with the highest grossing World War film of all time, 2023's Oppenheimer. I mean, what can you say about Oppenheimer? It's the best film of the 21st century for me. Bar none, probably. I think it's a masterpiece of a movie. It has all the elements that you want in a work of art. I think it's absolutely stunning movie. Visually and emotionally, I think they managed to capture it. I know it got a lot of criticism for not showing the fallout of the bomb, but it wasn't about that. It was about the man. And I think that was a more interesting, because we can see atrocities, We see them every fucking day on the news. Why do we want to see more of them?
We
Isn't
go
that
to
just
Molyneux
like some
every
kind
week.
of perversion? You what? Sorry, Ash.
We go to Molyneux every other week.
I mean, yeah. But it just feels a bit perverted that, we want to see these people melting by the atom. I'm like, no, we need to see the impact that has had on the man. And I think they played it perfectly. I think this film is, I think it's just brilliant. Ash?
Yeah. Well, what else do you say? Like, it showed us that Robert Downey Jr. can act. We all fell for the lies that he's coming to be an actor and then he just went straight back to the slot factory. But with his Gru accent, just he's got his tested and tried gang together, hasn't he? And they all just combined. And this was the proper coming out party for Cillian Murphy, which was what he needed. Like, there's nothing you can say. It was just an experience. It was also helped with Barbenheimer, but
Yeah.
I don't think it can be understated how much Barbie helped, because that was the sweet and this was the salt, and they just come together hand in awful hand. But it was just it's an experience, isn't it? Like, again, it's not the same as the twist in Prestige, but you know where you were when you heard that fucking atomic bomb go off. That scene was just
I mean, mass disrespect to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang there. He's good in that.
That is a great film, yeah. That is a very good film.
Yeah, I mean, Oppenheimer Day, when we watching Barbie in the afternoon and Oppenheimer at night was like, yeah, here is your candy floss, now's your gourmet steak. And I mean, it's the best film ever made. Simple. Nothing else to say.
I don't think I can argue with you. Yeah, I think you might be right. And then, of course, that brings us right up to date. The Odyssey. Obviously, myself and Ash sat down last week and spoke about it. Stu, what have you got to say?
It was. I mean, obviously, I waited until I'd seen it before I listened to the episode, obviously, from last week. So I said to Ash before you came on, I had it saved because there was no ramble and no cliches this week to listen to. So I did my ironing from the holiday. I listened to the dulcet tones and I think the things that you mentioned about the lunatics on moaning about the issues that were going to hamper the film. I hate race swapping anyway. It's nonsense, pointless. It just brings attention on yourself. The way they did it, it didn't matter. Of course, it didn't matter. Like, it's a fantasy film anyway, but she wasn't even the focus of the film. So it was a throwaway line, and she looked pretty good actually, despite the scar. Unless you're into that stuff. And I think what you said about Elliot Page as well, like how do you cast a small guy who looks a bit weak? There's your perfect casting. It was spot on. The whole Trojan stuff. I never took my eyes off the screen once, and it didn't feel like you both said. It didn't feel that long. It probably could have gone another half hour, and it wouldn't have mattered. It took a bit to get into. Like the first 25 minutes, I was like, okay, this is a bit all over the place. And the Cyclops bit, I've never seen anything quite like that. Again, in the Nolan stuff, like you don't expect to be shocked by CG puppets and all this kind of stuff anymore. But then, like how that was scoped together, I have no idea. It doesn't matter. The Giants, the same. I can't wait for the behind the scenes stuff and Corridor Crew to break this down. Which they do talk about that in Inception, about how the mirror trick was done. There's an episode of that if you want to find it.
Okay,
it's remarkably easy as well. I agree with the whole film versus movie thing. I don't think anyone was bad in this film at all. Samantha Morton was incredible as always. Which, before we even talked about that in the group chat earlier on today, I was like, yeah, that's one of my points to make, because she's just, I can't believe how she's so underused. I know that's her own fault by choosing these roles, but even like she was the best thing in Walking Dead for 10 years. And she was only in it for 1.5 years, maybe.
Yeah. She reminds me of Daniel Radcliffe in that she's in that point of her career where she's just like, I'm just doing the fun shit now. and she's always just fucking steals the show in everything she does.
And I didn't know she was in it either. Because I'd avoided as much as possible, other than that initial trailer last year. So I didn't know who was in it. I didn't know Charlize Theron was in it. That was a surprise.
I didn't either, to be fair. So that was quite a nice surprise as well.
Yeah, there's a few people who showed up. I thought, oh, okay, you're in it as well. Good. I didn't even know Pansiano was in it. I didn't know that was him to start with. I thought you look familiar. And then the flashback. I thought it was very, very well done. It was a grown-ups film. Yet probably the one, like what you said, what is a Nolan film? If you showed them this, you think, yeah, that is class. I think it's probably the easiest thing to watch out of all the other mad shit backwards and all. Other than the Batman trilogy, the Odyssey is probably the easiest thing. I mean, everyone knows what it is anyway. And you'd probably get a full Nolan experience from it because it was wonderful. I'm not saying it'll probably be in my top 5, but it's not cemented there. Not for me. It's one that could slip. But yeah, there's no one. If every single person in this film could get nominated for something and win it, and it'd be well deserved. I just think that he's got better films, which is saying a lot, really.
Yeah, because I know when I've done my list, I've tried to like give myself a bit of space because obviously recency bias is a bit of a bitch, so it's difficult to separate that out. So I've tried to be as fair as I can and like almost penalise it because of it. But Ash, you can go first. Give us your 1 to 10, 1 to 30, however you want to play it. Tell us your. And if you've got any reasoning for any of it, just shout up.
Let's have a look. Right, where was I? So following's bottom, obviously. I had Memento, but yeah. Then I had Tenet. Then I had where were we? I had Batman Begins, which isn't fair, but we're at the point now where we're at good films anyway. Like we're at very good films. I say it's low down, but it's not because of your rubbish. We're not good. It's just we're at where we are where we are. Then I had Dunkirk. Then it was Dark Knight Rises. Then it's Interstellar. Oh no, Interstellar was then Dark Knight Rises. Then what have I got left? I've got. I still struggle this now because this is like it's picking like out of a thing. Dark Knight, just because it didn't. It's obviously it's amazing, but it didn't hit me as much as the other ones. Then The Prestige. Oppenheimer, Odyssey, Inception. Inception's 1.
Interesting.
I
mean, yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Oppenheimer was in 3, that Dark Knight was so low. Yeah, a couple of shocks in there. Stu, what have you got?
So I banded them in, like I said before, 10 out of 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, and following. Following, I just don't know where to put. It's not. If you're ranking it fairly compared to the others, it's obviously bottom. I think we rank it as a film in its own right, it's probably a 5, but in a kind of historical piece,
yeah, I think
it deserves mention. Then the 2 7s, Insomnia, good film, solid film, and Dark Knight Rises. Again, the fact that it's there, the same rank as Insomnia, and I don't like that film that much, again speaks to how well everything else is on the list. And then in reverse order for the 8s, Memento, Batman Begins, Tenet, Dunkirk. The 3 9s, Interstellar, The Odyssey, Prestige. Top 3, Inception, Dark Knight, Oppenheimer.
It's not a million miles away from mine, apart from a couple of them. Following, I've got at the bottom as well. It's more of a curio because it's his first film than it is like an actual good film, but it's still a watchable film nonetheless. 12 is Interstellar, then Insomnia, Dark Knight Rises at 10, 9 is Tenet, Dunkirk at 8, Batman Begins, Memento. And then 3, 4 and 5, I'm not convinced I'm right with these, but I've got Inception, Odyssey and Prestige, 3, 4
Same
and
as
5.
me.
I'm not sure whether or not that's right or they need swapping around. Like, if you ask me tomorrow, Odyssey might be in 3rd, Prestige could be in 3rd. I generally, those 3 films are as close to perfect as you'll get, apart from 2nd place, The Dark Knight, and 1st place, Oppenheimer. Because I just think Oppenheimer, like you said, Stu, I think it might be the best film ever made. Just phenomenal. Right, so we'll go from talking about the sublime to the teachable. A Teachable Moment is our short film review, a short movie available on YouTube from 2016. Welcome back. Stu, did you watch the Finding Daddy last week at all?
Why was one of them so dirty? Julie, did she just rub her face on the floor to get money out of her dad? I mean, I didn't know that's who that was either.
Did you not recognise Jake?
No, even though you said the week before as well that he was in it. I completely forgot that fact. So it was only when I listened to it afterwards during ironing time. And I went, oh, yeah, of course it was. with his little cancer box. It was funny. I liked it. It was good.
Good. I'm glad. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a fun little movie. So this one is another dark comedy, but slightly a bit different. So a man is dying and a woman takes the opportunity to teach her son in a teachable moment. You know the rules. We have 60 seconds to review the short film. Stu, because you missed last week, you can go first. Tell me when to hit go and then give me a review. Right.
I mean, as all these things seem to be, the name is the film. And again, that was the case with this one. And but it was strangely like deep for all of 7 minutes or whatever it was. That, yeah, okay. If you see this low-life loser who needs your help, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah, let's not take him to the hospital. Let's not take him where he wants to go. Let's use him and use his dying blood all over the floor as a metaphor. That, yeah, you child. If you don't listen to me, you don't sort your ways out, you're going to end up in a ditch like this as well. I thought it was really good. I thought it was clever. Again, it's a dark comedy, but I smiled quite a lot. Yeah, great piece of work.
Excellent. Ash, tell me when to go and you can go next.
Go on then.
Okay.
Poor old Henry. Like he's had a bit of a go of it, hasn't he? Like you see him coming out, and you can tell he's a bit of a wrong'un. And then, what do you want when you're bleeding out and coming to die? You get this hard-ass mother turning up with a shit of a son and pointing at you and going, "Look, this is what's going to happen to you if you keep down your way." Like, I felt so bad for poor Henry. Like, just let him die in fucking peace and dignity. And he asks, "Are you going to take me to the hospital?" And she goes, "No, it's too late for you." And it's just like, "Oh, you cow!" I grinned from ear to ear. Like, God bless. This was a great film. Fair Fox.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So, Teachable Moment, I thought it was quite a sharp little dark comedy built around this one very twisted premise. A mother decides the best way to teach her son about mortality is to take him to meet a dying man on the side of the road and make him explain why he's dying. It's really quite morbid, but it's really awkward and very funny at the same time. It's the kind of short one that I'm glad that we've made this little segment for, because it was silly fun that I like. It's all about the absurdity of the situation without twisting it into anything too cartoony. It comes from this social discomfort, I think, but it's this comedy that's built around the human behaviour rather than punchlines. And I think that it's all the better for that. If there's a downside, I'd probably say that it's very premise driven. So once the central joke is established, the short doesn't really have anywhere else to go after that. But if you're doing it in 7 minutes, you don't have a lot of time to explore anything else anyway. But it's a funny, bleak, and surprisingly little relatable story about how adults try and fail to teach people about the world. Cool. So next week, we will be doing a short film which has just been released onto the YouTubes, and it is Charlie Kaufman, who you may remember, Stu, did adaptation, the Nicolas Cage film where he had
played
someone playing. He played Nick playing himself, and also his fictional brother, who was Oscar nominated for that film. So yeah, it's that film. It's like I think it's literally been released in the last couple of days. I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, okay, we're going to have to do that, and it is called How to Shoot a Ghost. As I say, it's available on YouTube. It's slightly longer than most of the shorts that we've done of late. It's like 27 minutes. But it's Charlie Kaufman, and I know how much we have enjoyed his work in the past on this pod, so I felt like that's definitely one that we need to get watched next.
The fact that it's got a trailer for a short film.
Yeah. Yeah. Ridiculous, isn't it? But I suppose when you get a name like Kaufman involved in it, it's going to have a little bit of prestige compared to obviously this and last week's. They're just fun little directors who are trying to make their way in the world. Kaufman's someone who's got a wealth of history behind him. So it's almost an event of a short film. I'm looking forward to this one. I know nothing about it other than it's Kaufman, but that's enough for me to watch it. Right, after the break, the Cruise-Cruz continues and we hit Vanilla Sky. Welcome back. Release date, 14th of December 2001, which is a little bit weird because I noticed a couple of things in this film that definitely weren't there in December 2021. Yeah, so apparently the studios tried to get Cameron Crowe to digitally remove the Twin Towers from the film, but he was all #never forget and wouldn't let it go. So that's why they're still there. It did surprise me a little bit just because I knew that this was released after the event. I thought this was 2002 initially. And it feels like at that time, they just avoided all mention of it. Whereas now, in this film, they didn't. And I don't quite know why, because it doesn't really serve a purpose. So I don't know. But anyway. I loved this film when I first saw it, probably 20-something years ago. I remember watching it quite a few times. It's one of those films that when I'd get back from a night out, I either watch this or Chasing Amy or Dogma. Like, it's just one of those films for some reason. I was like, I really like this film. It feels really deep and meaningful. And I was young at the time. And I kind of wondered watching it now, is that just going to be that I was a pretentious, precocious little dickhead? Mm-hmm. But watching it now, oh no, actually, I really like this film still. I think it still really holds up well. Stu, what did you think?
I mean, first of all the things to watch after a night out, when you've got Dude, Where's My Car? And Freddie Got Fingered, et al. The perfect after session film. All Gone in 60 Seconds as Gold Watch the ones. He was stranded in the university halls because I was off in the room and he couldn't get out. So he ended up staying there and then just watching DVDs all night until he could get let out in the morning. It's amazing. I never wanted to watch this. Like, I remember the trailer bit out at the time. I thought, yeah, they say for me. And having loved Mission Impossible 2 at the time, I should have been all over it as well. And I thought, why didn't I? And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think I probably would have hated it back then. And yet this time, this was fun. It's like the whole thing like we just talked about with Nolan, like what's a dream, what's reality, and all that kind of stuff. And you can put an argument for the whole film being a dream. You can, like, the sections that were supposed to be a dream, or the mentions, and maybe that's why the Twin Towers are about there, because it was part of the dream when he died, and blah, blah, blah. I think it's probably deeper than it seems from the outset, and you can make it whatever you want it to be. And I love films like that. But yeah, I thought it was just really well done. It flew by as well. I really enjoyed myself.
That's good. Ash, do you remember, like, when it was released, do you remember, like, your opinions prior to actually seeing the film?
What year did it come out again?
2001, this one did.
I would have been 11.
Do you remember it at all? Because, like,
no,
weirdly, I remember
I was 11.
Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz just felt like that was such big news at the time, and I don't really know why. And, like, it's not the kind of thing that I would have paid attention to. But I remember, like, there was quite a lot of noise around this film, weirdly.
2001, I was excited to go and watch Lord of the Rings. Like, it was what, December? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it was Lord of the Rings. It was Lord of the Rings or bust for me. I was an 11-year-old kid. Like, Nah, there's nothing else going on in my life.
So what about, like, 4 days ago before you saw this film? What were your opinions prior to it?
I didn't have a clue what this was about. Like, I've never known what this film was about. It's always been that sort of that black spot in my mind. I've always heard of Vanilla Sky, and I've seen the picture of, like, the weird picture of him, and I've seen that it's like a thriller or something sort of psychological, and I was like, never understood why, but I absolutely adored this movie. I had such good fun. I think I just kept messaging you, like, I'm enjoying this. Like, this is going to rank really. When we come to the end, this is going to go really high. I really enjoyed myself with this.
That's good. I'm kind of surprised of all of the films. Like, I expected this to have aged badly, and it just, if anything, it's gone completely the other way. Just as a quick aside, Stu, did you watch Mission Impossible 2 again recently?
No, I watched it last year before.
Okay.
Before the final part, and yeah, I agree with you. It's aged badly. It's not the film that I remembered it at all.
No.
It does. You were right though. It feels like the 90s, and obviously it kind of is. But like some of the camera shot, the how it's edited is. It felt cheaper than the first one somehow.
Massively, yeah.
And yet, obviously, like I said before, and like you said as well, that was having a lot different feel to each film was the idea before it was abandoned after that one. And looking back now, you can kind of see why.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was massively disappointed because that film was why I grew my hair and had sunglasses like that for. I loved it that much.
You twat. I thought Cruise's performance in this was fantastic. And from what I've read, he took the original film. So apparently he was obsessed with... what's the film called? I've got it somewhere in the notes. We'll get to it. He was obsessed with the original film, the Spanish language film, to the point that he was talking to people who hadn't seen it, talking to them about it because he was just obsessed. He then ended up taking it to Cameron Crowe and was like, we need to make this film. Because obviously they'd worked together on Jerry Maguire and he was looking for a reason to work with him again. So this, I think, was a passion thing for Cruise. And I feel that you see that in his performance. Like, he comes across like he actually cares. And the fact that he's playing someone who is... Before the accident, he's a prick. He's an egotistical, arrogant... someone who just won't take any responsibility for the cunt that he is. And then after it, he is this depressed, broken misery of a man. Like, at no point is he playing somebody who you would associate with the Tom Cruise character, and he's playing like two versions of it. And I think that for him to have done that, it's got to be something that he was very much invested in. And I think you see that here. I think this is a very strong performance of his in the end. I think it's really good. I also really like Penelope Cruz's, like, her warmth in this. This would probably have been like her first English language film, as far as I can remember. At least it would have been the first time that I would have ever known of her. And she was wonderful and sweet, and like, you genuinely really cared for her. And the flip side of the coin, Cameron Diaz, who was just this psychotic ball of energy in it. Their juxtaposition, like the two sides of the same coin, I really like how that played out. I thought they were brilliant. And then to add the other layer, I don't understand how Jason Lee didn't become the biggest buddy in Hollywood, because he's so warming and comforting and wonderful through most of the film until probably the third act, where I think they sideline him a little bit. But he's brilliant in this film.
How the fuck did we end up with Ryan Reynolds? Jason Lee's right there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think Jason... I was always a fan of his anyway, because obviously the Kevin Smith stuff. But when I've seen him in anything else, I'm like, yeah, you had so much going for you, and I don't understand how you didn't just take over the world from this point.
Like, literally, the only time he snaps, apart from being a best friend, is when he's getting fucking rage baited by dickhead Cruise, when he's got the mask on, when they're pissed. And even then, he's not a dickhead to him. Like, yeah,
because like, he understands why he's being a prick because of the...
He just says, call me tomorrow. It's like, you are such a good friend. And, like, to be fair, like, even at the end, that's spoilers, but it's been 25 years.
You've had time to watch it, yeah.
You've had time to watch it. When he appears at the end and on top of the building, I got a little bit choked up because obviously, you know, he's saying goodbye to everyone. But when I saw Jason Lee, I got genuinely a bit emotional because obviously it's his best friend.
I like that he doesn't say anything because obviously in that point, Kurt Russell's character is trying to sort of like argue for his life, and Jason Lee just smiles.
Yeah.
It's the smile of, it's okay, carry on. Yeah, brilliant. When you were texting me, actually, you were saying about you were enjoying Cruise and Diaz as the women in the film. What did you think of them then as the polar opposites of each other?
It's like I say, I would have killed for that. I would have killed for Penelope Cruz. She is wifey. In that film, she is absolute wife material. God bless her. Cameron Diaz is the one you want to get with on a night out. She is the quintessential. Oh my God, she'd be great fun. But she's not the one you take you home to your mama. Penelope Cruz is the one you take home to your mama. They both played the roles so well. I don't think there was a bad performance in this. Even to Timothy Spall playing the friend, like the work friend in that sort of sense. Like he was superb as well. Just there wasn't a bad performance. I don't think.
Yeah, Stu, what were your thoughts on the acting here?
Yeah. Oh no, I was just looking, just in case anything bad had happened to Jason Lee and if he'd been cancelled, but he hasn't now, thankfully. It's just like a very strange like filmography. Have you seen the
Alvin and the Chipmunks?
I was going to say, have you seen any of the Alvin and the Chipmunks films?
I've seen the first one.
They're really good, all of them.
The first one was decent. I think I may have seen this. I've either seen the second or the third. I have seen another one, but I couldn't tell you which one it was.
Yeah, all four of them are really good fun. Like how G-Force had no right being actually good.
Yeah,
that's what they're like.
Yeah,
yeah. Again, all of them. I mean, I think Cameron Diaz, because of what she looks like, kind of gets. Oh, it doesn't matter. She's just there because she looks like that. But actually, she's really good in most things. She's in, even Charlie's Angels, which is shit, both of them. But she's really good in.
The first one's okay.
Is it?
It's all right. Like for what it is, you know, comedy action nonsense. Yeah, it's fine. The second is quite poor.
Full Throttle. I remember.
I bet it was.
Yeah, the Louise posters were out the way by that time. Yeah, everyone was excellent in it. I think Timothy Spall as well. Big Timothy Spall in this. He's always like you always see him and you think, oh yeah, there's Timothy Spall, but then he's always good at everything as well. You think, what happened to you? Why didn't you make it? It's very strange. But yeah, I think I hadn't seen anything of Penelope Cruz before. The fact that she was in the original as well, playing the same character, instead of different language.
I really want to watch the original now.
Yeah, I think if anyone was below par, it would have completely failed. I think you needed everyone to be on it for this to work, like it did. And it did for me.
Definitely. The fact that they managed to shut down Times Square, I mean, that's just complete. Nobody but Tom Cruise is ever going to have that kind of power to shut down Times Square, is it?
It opens with Times Square. It shows they mean business because, I didn't know what this film was about, so I sort of half put it on at the start. Okay, what's this going to be? And then you're opening with an empty Times Square. All right, okay, so there's money behind there's big business here because they've actually taken time to close down fucking Times Square. And that immediately got my attention. I think that was a very good move.
It's one of the most iconic images of all time in cinema, which is mad because, as you've pointed out, like it's a film that probably hasn't had the most life outside of the period of time that it was released. Like you don't hear people talking about it in the big 2020s, do you? But that image, I guarantee, pretty much everyone will have seen it. Whenever you see like a montage of moments from cinema history, that's one of them. That image of Cruise turning around and Times Square is just empty.
It's up there with Cillian Murphy in 27 Days Later with running down the bridge.
Yeah.
Stu, what were your thoughts on that sequence?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of adds to the theory that the whole film is the dream as well. And because apparently she's saying it in Spanish before he even meets her on the CD. Is it, okay, or is it just another thing to throw you off? Yeah, it was in that montage of stuff before Digger that I saw a few months ago. That's why when it opened, I thought, what is this? Is it Tom Cruise season? But obviously it was just an extended trailer for that. One of them things that now it'd just be done on the volume, or it'd be filmed in Canada and it'd be digitised out. So to know that it was real, they did it on a Sunday morning, I think they say, or something like that. But the logistics of doing that, I presume, is pretty hard to do that for a couple of hours. So just to go above and beyond for 20 seconds, 30 seconds of film. Just again, it doesn't surprise you anyone, does it? Because he was obviously his baby, so he's going to do it again and get completely involved in it and do what he can. But yeah, like Ash is right. You look at that and you think, yeah, this is big boy time again.
Yeah, absolutely. I like how willing it was to be kind of weird as well. This film, just like it never rested on its laurels. There's times where you were never sure of what was going on, and even like I said, I haven't seen it for a long time. I sort of vaguely remembered the ending of it, but there's bits where you see throughout it where it's just peppering in the imagery of, like, the clouds don't move, like the whole thing's settled, but why is that? Because we're in the world, but are we in the world? And I like how it just kept you feeling uneasy is not the right word, but it never, like, when you're drunk and you've got that slight imbalance in your ear, that's how it tried to keep you feeling throughout it. Just like you were never quite sure what was going on. And I thought that was a really well thing. And I think that Cameron Crowe did a fantastic job directing this, because that was throughout the whole of this film, from minute one. Looking back, like, I want to see this movie again now, because I'm like, I need to see it again, knowing all of the story that I now know, to see if I can pick out the parts that have gone on it. And I don't think there's been a Cruise film that we've watched yet where I'm like, oh, I'm watching that this weekend then, because I need to know what's going on.
No, not at all. And I did think, like, when she picks him up out of the alleyway and it pans up and you see the vanilla sky painting in the actual sky.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of a strange coincidence, not knowing anything about the film at all. And that's what, even I noticed that. I thought, it's obvious, but you don't know why. It's not even hinted at, is it? So, yeah, I'm trying to think, have we had one? I don't think we have had one like this yet, if at all, in this whole thing where this has got repeated viewing written all over it. I don't think we have.
Weirdly, like, the closest that I can think of might be Adaptation, that we mentioned like not 10 minutes ago. I feel like that has some rewatchability because of the weirdness of how it envelops on itself towards the end. But like for Cruise, absolutely not.
No.
I felt like when he figured out what was going on and he called out to tech support, which was Charlie Bucket's dad. But when they're going up in the lift, I felt such a sense of, not relief, but when you sort of just peace. I felt more at peace, and I couldn't really figure out why. But as soon as, like, he's sort of talking, the way he's talking to him and how soft he was speaking to Cruise's character, he was like, you could talk anyone off a ledge, you could.
Yeah, Noah Taylor was really good in this.
Yeah.
Did he play Hitler in in Preacher? I'm gonna have to have a look. I'm sure he did. Yes, he did. He was Hitler in Preacher. I thought he was, and obviously he was in Paddington 2, and he's just a very good actor, isn't he? But there was something just so comforting about him. Would it be a fair criticism to say that the final part of the film is just a little bit too exposition heavy, though? Because we've gone through the journey, and then we just get told, oh, that journey was all this. And we don't get a lot of time for the exploration of the exposition. We just get told it, and then he yeets himself off a building. So is that a fair criticism, that maybe we could have done with a little bit more time after the revelation?
Not for me. I like how it was paced, because I think if you go too much into it, you end up in that, what was that? Trap. Remember Trap from last year? Or the year before.
Where you had Shyamalan.
The first half of it was great, and then the film was like two halves, and the second half was shit. But just keeping it to like just over a quarter of it being the tech support stuff worked for me. I thought it was more about the other stuff, his other life and his other dream world. I think if you gone, it's sort of like Assassin's Creed. If you go too future off, then it's point it ruins it. I think being in there, a bit like the Matrix. Well, the Matrix was more interesting in the first film than the second and third, because it was like, what is the Matrix? Once you knew, it was like, okay, what are you going to do now? There's going to orgy on underground. But this is like, I think if we'd had more future stuff, I think it would have ruined it.
That's fair. Ash, how do you think about that?
I'm with Stu on that. I think the way that they played it, I think it was perfect. Like, I think leading them up to the up to the rooftop, telling him basically this is what's happened, etc., etc. It just worked perfectly for me. Like I say, I was at peace with it. Like the way that it was spoken out, I had no complaints. I was happy with how it went. I really just enjoyed.
And obviously, like you've both said, you hadn't seen this film before. You knew very little to nothing about it. Ash, like, how did you feel when the revelation was done? Like, were you shocked by it? Do you think it was well played throughout the film, or do you think it was like a little bit obvious?
It was pretty obvious. Like, you kind of knew that was in the fucking zeitgeist of what had happened. But I was sad for him. As I say, he's played this character like, a little bit fucking Ebenezer Scrooge in a sense of he's such an arsehole. He's gone through this entire journey and now you feel sorry for him. Like, it's a stereotypical story of, like, you don't like him. Like, it's absolutely stereotypical Cruise of he's an arsehole, but then it comes around that he's peak Cruise arsehole, and then you feel sorry for it. And just
amazing. Stu, I know when you watch films, you're very much more in the moment. Like, you tend to not think about what's going to happen next. So, like, did this sneak up on you?
I mean, like I said about the Vanilla Sky when she pulls him up, that's the first time I thought, hang on a minute. But I never thought it would be that. I thought, oh, okay. No, I did think we were going to get some Walt Disney head in a jar, I think.
Yeah.
That did cross my mind. Like when he went, because I thought, why do they keep mentioning this? Why does he keep looking at this dog for? What's going on here? And I thought there's got to be something to it in the end. It's got to be something's got to be importance of it for it to be referenced all the time. Mm-hmm. But it never even crossed my mind until they were sitting there. And I think, he's in cryo. Of course he is. Spoilers. He completely got me. Of course he did. But it wasn't like, so it was all a dream. But then I was thinking, so what was real? Mm. And even when they showed you what was real, like, do you believe that? Class, man. I love the whole thing.
It felt a lot more than, it was just a dream, though, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly.
That's what it is, isn't it? That's why it's so good.
Abre los ojos is the Spanish "open your eyes." It was released in 1997, apparently. I'm going to have to try and find that out because I'm intrigued. Because I think even like the director of it, he spoke very positively about this movie, which you wouldn't necessarily think would be the done thing. But Alejandro Amenabar said about Cameron Crowe's version of the film, when I learned quite some time ago now that Cameron Crowe was going to write and direct the film based upon Open Your Eyes with Tom Cruise in the leading role, I felt honoured. Now that I have seen Vanilla Sky, I couldn't be more proud. Cameron has all of my respect and admiration. Respect for having plumbed the deepest meaning of the work, admiration for having sought new viewpoints and a fresh approach to the mise-en-scène, giving the film its own unmistakable touch. Vanilla Sky is as true to the original spirit as it is irreverent towards its form, and that makes it a courageous, innovative work. I think I can say that, for me, the projects are like two very special brothers. They have the same concerns, but their personalities are quite different. In other words, they sing the same song, but with quite different voices. One likes opera, the other likes rock and roll. I mean, for someone to speak of that for someone who's ripping off your work, I think that says a hell of a lot about the quality to this film, which I mean, I'm kind of stunned that all three of us have come to this film with kind of different viewpoints about these kind of things and all come away feeling quite uplifted by it. Does he run? Yes, we literally see him run to the edge of the building before jumping off it. He takes his shirt off. We see topless Tom after a tumble in the hay with Julie. I don't recall any sunglasses.
He picks some up, but he doesn't put them on.
Okay. Now, that's going to have significance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't he put them on?
Exactly. It was like, when I was looking at it, we almost had all three within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is perfect. And he didn't. He just saw the arm of them in his hand, unless it was something else. But he looked like sunglasses to me.
Interesting. Now, does he not put them on because he doesn't need them, even though it's sunny all the time in this film?
Yeah.
Or does he not put them on because he doesn't want to wear glasses to see the truth? Like, it feels like that's the kind of thing that they're hiding in this film, and that's why I loved it. Explosions. The car crash is pretty fucking brutal. I feel like when you see a lot of these things, when something like that happens, the Hollywood way, it's always quite overblown and there's an explosion and there's a bounce. And this just sort of hit the ground and did not move. And it really takes the wind out of you because you think, shit, what's gone on here? I thought that was really, really effective.
You know, that bit where, when it cut back to her, when she's on the bridge looking down at it, in one of the when he's unravelling, I thought, fuck, wait, really? It's been staged. And it was like everything was going through my mind at the same time.
Yeah.
I fully fell for it.
I wonder if he did his own stunt for that one.
So obviously there wasn't a lot of physical training like what we'd have had for Top Gun or even for Cocktail, but Cruise approached the role of David Ames with the usual obsessive commitment that we'd expect. Cameron Crowe has spoke about Cruise spending time researching and delving into identity, ego, emotional vulnerability, and how Cruise wanted to understand the psychology of a man whose life collapses under the weight of his own choices. Cruise pushed for the mask, he pushed for the discomfort and the emotional rawness. In typical Cruise fashion, if a role calls for uncomfortableness, he runs towards the discomfort. It's another film of Cruise learning the roles of being a producer as well as being an actor, I think, here, because he's very collaborative by all accounts, shaping the tone, the dream logic, the surrealism, and the emotional ambiguity. Like, he wasn't just there to be told what to do by a director. Like, this isn't him working with Stanley Kubrick again. This is him becoming the auteur of his own character, I think. And it pays off in abundance. Tom Cruise has actually talked about Vanilla Sky quite a bit, apparently. What's interesting is how personally he connected to it. He said after watching the original film, he couldn't stop thinking about it, to which he then took to Cameron Crowe and said, we've got to talk about this. And that's how the remake happened. He said he was drawn to the film because it was out of bounds for him. He likes roles that challenge him, and this one let him explore themes he doesn't normally get to touch. And he has apparently, I haven't seen it anywhere, but when I googled it, he said this is one of his favourite films of his. His co-stars, Penelope Cruz, has said that Tom was incredibly generous and focused on set, especially when requiring emotional vulnerability. But I do wonder if that's because they were in their real-life relationship at this point. Cameron Crowe has said that Cruise was fearless, and that's a word I think we've heard quite a lot of at this point about Tom Cruise. Like, we've seen time and again that when Cruise trusts a director, he gives them all he can and then some. Scientology watch next. So February 2001, so we're in the same year. The cover of People magazine hits the newsstand screaming the $250 million divorce. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman split after 10 years. Now, while the rest of the world was mourning Hollywood's golden couple, over at Gold Base in California, popping champagne corks, they were practically breaking the sound barrier. Because church leadership, specifically David Miscavige, had long viewed Nicole Kidman as a potential trouble source. In other words, she had a Catholic father who was also a psychologist. Huh. And also she had a personality with zero interest in holding the cans for 2 hours, whilst her handler asked if she'd ever stolen a pencil. So when Nicole was officially out of the picture, the church didn't just celebrate, they moved in. Scientology immediately assigned Tom a full-time Sea Org crew whose job description was manage Tom's life, iron his shirts, make sure no non-believers whisper any logic into his ears. But then, of course, 2001's Vanilla Sky set comes along, and this is where Tom meets Spanish superstar Penelope Cruz. Now, Tom is head over heels, but in the Scientology world, you don't just take a woman to dinner and buy her flowers. First, she's got to pass security clearance at Sea Org. So the handlers swooped in. Before Penelope could fully date Tom, she was ushered into an official Scientology course and auditing sessions to, and I quote, clean out her psychological baggage and assess her suitability for the gold standard of Hollywood. It's like kind of hilarious, but also really fucking unsettling, the amount of control they had over this guy's life. But what the church didn't really kind of figure out was that Penelope Cruz is a devout Buddhist. Like, she willingly tried the courses, and when the handlers tried to push her to ditch her Buddhist behaviour for L. Ron Hubbard's doctrine, Penelope just said, no, that's not happening. So when Miscavige realised that she wasn't going to surrender her spiritual autonomy, he famously dismissed Penelope Cruz as a dilettante. So imagine having the nerve to call Penelope Cruz a dilettante because she wouldn't trade her 2,500-year-old Eastern philosophy for auditing sessions. By 2004, after 3 years of the church handlers hovering over their dates, Penelope pulled the plug on the relationship. She reportedly told her confidants that the Church of Scientology felt like a permanent third wheel in their relationship. And what did the church do once Penelope walked out? Did they let Tom date normally? Of course not. That's when Scientology famously launched their infamous audition process, flying in young Scientologist actresses under the guise of screen tests, asking them intimate personal questions and literally trying to handpick Tom's next wife. Like, it shows you everything you need to know about Scientology. Underneath the shiny Hollywood glamour, it's just paranoia, controlled freak handlers, and a multi-million-dollar bureaucracy that treats romance like intelligence operations. He's just never going to get from under it, but at this point, I think he just likes the delusions that they give him at the same time. So the Big Three award count. Cumulatively, we're up to 23 wins and 63 nominations, up to Mission Impossible 2. We've got one more Oscar nomination to add for Paul McCartney. He was nominated for Original Song called Vanilla Sky. I don't know if it was in the film. I never particularly clocked it. He lost out to Randy Newman for If I Didn't Have You from Monsters, Inc. I don't know that song.
That's the song at the end.
Yeah.
Buscemi and not Buscemi. Goodman and who plays Mike Wazowski?
It is, isn't he?
No, Goodman Sully. John Goodman Sully.
I actually can't really even remember who plays them.
It's what's his name? Harry from Harry Met Sally.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It's
been so long since I've seen Monsters, Inc. that I've genuinely...
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, Mike.
Billy Crystal's Harry from Harry Met Sally, isn't he?
Yeah. I've seen the first one. I think I saw the first one at the cinema. I don't think I've seen any of the others. It's a fine film, but it's not one that I've much interest in revisiting. But yeah, I'd forgot about that. There were 2 Golden Globe nominations as well. Macca again. This time he lost out to Sting, of all people, for a song that he wrote for Kate and Leopold. I don't even know what that film is. And there's also a supporting actress nomination for Cameron Diaz. She lost out to Jennifer Connelly for A Beautiful Mind. I've never seen that film. Is that the Russell Crowe mathematician one? Yeah.
It's the most Andy film on this list so far.
Well, that was the big winner at the Oscars that year, wasn't it? And for whatever reason, I just never bothered. There was also a Razzie nomination for Penelope Cruz. She was nominated for 3 roles that she did that year, rather than specifically for Vanilla Sky. So obviously, Vanilla Sky, which I thought she was decent in. Blobe, that's the drug film, isn't it? And I remember her being pretty good in that. The other film that she released that year was Captain Corelli's Mandolin. So I kind of get it. She did lose out to Mariah Carey for Glitter, which is fucking abysmal. Like, legitimately one of the worst films ever made. 2.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It's awful. It's not even a so bad it's good. It's just bad.
On that, I second the fella. You need to watch Battlefield Earth, Ash. It's it's an experience.
It's painful. It is painful, but yeah. The critical response at the time was very divided. Some admired it as bold, surreal, emotionally ambitious experiment, while others found it messy, over-explained, and undermined by Cruise's casting. William Arnold of the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, a mostly fascinating, often infuriating, boldly uncommercial Hollywood version of a boldly uncommercial art film. It's as personal a film as Cruise will ever make. Roger Ebert said that it's the kind of movie you don't want to analyse until you've seen it 2 times. Certainly it's entertaining as it rolls along, and there is wonderful chemistry between Cruise and Cameron Diaz on the one hand, and Cruise and Penelope Cruz. Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz on the other. And Lawrence Topman of the Charlotte Observer, I admire Cameron Crowe for daring to write and direct a movie so strange as Vanilla Sky. I lament the casting of Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz in the leads. I don't get that, but I'm wondering if it's because they were the it couple in the world at that point, if maybe there's a little bit of resentment towards that. Because for me, they feel quite perfectly cast in this movie. The modern reassessment, massively so. The tone today is noticeably more positive than it was in 2001. Many contemporary critics and film writers now see it as bold, emotionally rich, and thematically fascinating outlier in Cruise's career. The Midwest Film Journal. It admittedly feels indulgent to jump into 25-year-old cultural conversation to declare that Vanilla Sky is not, in fact, all that bad. A discordant, dreamlike journey of self-discovery with a uniquely pop culture-infused ambience. Chicago Reader, I now find Cruise tolerable only when he's in a movie that undercuts or ridicules his narcissism, as Eyes Wide Shut did, and as this movie does even more noticeably. And I kind of agree with that. I feel like this is quite anti-Tom Cruise. And Gone with the Twins, psychological shocks and unreliable narrator keep things engaging, presenting continual unease and uncertainty. I'm very much with the modern day reviewers on this. I think it's a very good film. The budget of the film was $68 million, which gives us a cumulative total of $732.8 million. And the box office returns was $203 million. So it's a very uncommercial film that made 3 times its budget. And that gives us a cumulative total of $3,605,200,000. Stu, Cage or Cruise?
Now, Cage could have obviously easily done the scarred mask stuff quite easily. The other half, I don't think he would have been able to do as well. So for that, it's Cruise.
I'm with you on that because Cage brings chaos to a role in a good way. And that works really well for the parts that are within the dream sequence, within the... Was he set up? Was he not? Is he alive? Is it all that? That would kind of work. Cruise brings control to his performances, and you need that for the balance. So I completely agree. It's Cruise. Ash?
Yeah, like you say, when he's got the mask on, he acts a little bit batshitty, which you could see Cage doing, but there's not enough of that to warrant what happens, and let alone like the first 5 minutes. You couldn't, like, watching Nick. I don't think I would be that invested if I watched Nicolas Cage running down an empty Times Square. I'd think something insanity is about to ensue.
That's reasonable. Ash, is Tom Cruise a saint or a sinner?
He's a sinner for not locking both of them girls down. Jesus Christ. But no, he's a saint. This is superb. This is one of my favourite roles of watching him.
Yeah, excellent. Stu, saviour of cinema again?
Yeah, I don't think anyone else would have got away with doing this at that time. And let alone locking Times Square down, like we said over and over. It's big dick energy, and it's all flopped out there on the table for all to see.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the fact that, like, his character is such a sinner, like, he's selfish, he's vain, he's reckless, he's an asshole, let's be honest. He hurts people and hides behind his privilege. And I don't think that you could get anyone else other than Tom Cruise to play that role and have him come out the other side being kind of likeable. So I think from just a pure acting standpoint, he's the saviour. And also, like I said earlier, like no one is closing down Times Square for anyone other than Tom Cruise. So just from the pure visual mechanics of the film, he's also the saviour there. If you enjoyed Vanilla Sky, you may also like... So, I mean, we've mentioned Open Your Eyes. I feel like I need to see that film. But if it's half as good as this, I think I'll really enjoy it. Having said that, going back to Christopher Nolan, Inception, that's probably the best Is It All a Dream logic movie ever made. So Inception's the one that I would recommend.
Yeah, that would be the one, wouldn't it? Dream Scenario, I guess.
Great choice, yeah. Great choice. Ash?
I went with Fight Club.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You see them at the World Cup with the two of them together. That's class, that was. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. I saw a tweet saying, why is Ed Norton talking to himself? Yeah, it's very good.
You know what? We haven't even talked about how good the makeup was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good. Like all the actual like technical aspects of the film. I thought that the music, the score and everything to this, just everything I thought was really well made.
Yeah. To hide the face for so long as well, I thought, how bad can it possibly be? And then you look and you think, he's proper fucked up here. And so then
you couldn't see the seams on it, could you? Which, like, from a film that's 25 years old, incredible. Right, what have we...
There was one thing we didn't mention with Spider-Man as well.
Oh, yeah.
A nice cameo from Mr. Milchick in there as well.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
No, actually being Mr. Milchick as well.
Was he?
Yeah, it's not just Trammell being in the film. He's the same character, just with a beard and hair.
Incredible. Oh, they've started filming that again, haven't they, as well?
That's 2 years away.
I can't wait for that.
That's you all again.
I mean, they said after the last season, we're not going to have massive gaps between the seasons. And like, they're literally only just filming it now when the last season finished end of last year, was it?
Yeah.
It's the problem with getting like proper big name actors to do TV work, isn't it? It's just never going to get them to do it on any regular basis.
And it's remarkably CG heavy as well, that show is, so it's going to take a while.
Yeah, that's true. Can't wait for it though. Will be exciting. Right, next week I'm excited for this one, Minority Report.
Yes.
A film I remember liking, and it's one that it feels kind of ITV2, but at the same time, I'm always going to fucking watch it when it's on ITV2 because it's just a good film.
What was the what's the South Park reference to that? It's the whale. Is it the whales?
The manatees, yeah.
The manatees. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a weird 2002. We're going to have Minority Report and Austin Powers in Goldmember.
Oh.
God.
That's right. Should we just double up and no? Let's give Austin Powers in Goldmember a proper one.
Yeah.
I know he's in it for all of 30 seconds. Not even that easy, but
we did the fucking Western film, and he's barely in it. So.
No.
And how fucking angry were you about it?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to save you because Goldmember's not good, but
Yes,
it's not. We'll get into it in 2 weeks' time. We'll talk about the.
You should watch them all three of them, and talk about them all together.
Let's not take the piss here. Right? Let's take the piss.
I have no issue with rewatching the second one because who doesn't want to watch more Heather Graham? Let's be honest. All fucking day. But I don't. I remember not particularly liking Goldmember. Apart from, I mean, the characters are kind of funny, aren't they? or are they just funny in a 2002 way? And now, Fat Bastard and who was the other character he played in it? Didn't he play like 4? He played Powers, Evil, Fat Bastard, and someone else. Oh yeah, he played Goldmember, didn't he? In that one.
Yeah.
And that wasn't particularly funny.
I let go. Fucking shite in it.
It is bad. Oh God, yeah, I'm dreading that one a little bit, but yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I keep telling myself that.
Well,
So yeah,
why don't we do Spider Noir that week as well, since he's only in it for like all of 10 seconds.
it's not a bad idea. I still need to finish it off.
I love it. Spoilers.
Yeah. So next week we'll do. So the plan I was going to do for the next few weeks is we'll have a couple of weeks talking about transatlantic remakes. So Yank to Brit and Brit to Yank remakes of shows. Talk about that. So we'll do that for the next couple of weeks. We've got Spider-Man Noir to fit in as well. So then we'll have Minority Report, which thumbs up. We'll have Gold Member, which is thumbs kind of sideways, and one that I haven't seen that I'm kind of looking forward to. The Last Samurai.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't remember seeing it either.
No, I don't even remember it being released, but it's got very good reviews on IMDb. So I'm kind of fucking Billy Connolly's in it. That's weird.
Oh yeah,
and Timothy Spall. Timothy Spall's in it as well.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Is that Shinsuke? Oh no, it's not. I thought it was Shinsuke Nakamura, but it's Chikonosuke Nakamura. Because that's fucking Shinsuke. That'd be class.
They all look the same, do they?
No, his name is literally Shichinosuke. So that might even be pronounced Shinsuke. I'm not entirely sure.
It's what Shogun
That's
as well.
exciting. I'm so annoyed I just couldn't find time to fit that in. And now it's so far after it that I just keep forgetting about it. Have they ever spoke about doing a sequel or a second season or anything to it?
They are. I think they are, yeah.
That might give me the impetus to get it done.
But then again, they were doing a second season of Wonder Man, which is the one that I think you would actually kind of enjoyed as well. And now that's been cancelled.
Yeah, again, all reports on that sound like it's so much more interesting than the general MCU stuff. So I'm quite surprised that it's been cancelled because it was very well received.
They've been let go to do other things, and the characters will be used elsewhere.
Okay,
it doesn't need a second season. I mean, it was fine as it was. And it kind of ended in a way that you can see them just going doing their own things anyway. But I was literally talking to Dean about this afternoon, saying, "Oh yeah," because he was very much like Spider-Man. I went, "Yeah, well, it's penance for all the other stuff that we've had to suffer through, other than Wonder Man. When you had Echo, which was boring, you had Ironheart, which was shit, and then you had Wonder Man and Daredevil, which was great, and now that's just not happening, is it? So."
Well, he's just done He's just done Spider-Man, isn't he? So
yeah,
and he's going to do the new Shang-Chi whenever that comes out.
It's unfortunate. I like Yahya Abdul-Mateen. I think he's a very good actor. It's a shame, really, that hopefully they just find a place for that character elsewhere. Like, he deserves a shot at doing something. So yeah, unfortunate.
They did it with Jessica Jones. I brought her back.
Did they? I can't remember what the fuck her name is.
Yeah, she was in Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, right, okay. I did not know that. I still haven't finished the Netflix ones. I'd watched season 1 and 2 of Daredevil, never bothered with the third one.
No, you don't need to bother with the third.
I really liked the first one. I thought it was great.
You only really need to watch the third to set up Defenders, which even then...
Yeah, I'm not watching Defenders.
Yeah.
Luke Cage was all right at the time.
I didn't like that. Luke Cage felt like a show aimed at black people that was written by white people. It just felt really inauthentic when I was watching it.
Iron Fist is the drizzling shit.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I'd heard that was bad.
I think that's the worst one of them all. The fact that he's never even mentioned again since.
Had that come out before the last showing? I can't remember. Because he's in the film that I starred in.
Oh yes, he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
The masterpiece that was the last showing.
Yeah. No,
It was enjoyable, that film was, though.
Yeah, it's absolute garbage, but it's class.
I didn't hate it by any stretch. Yeah, it was. Yeah, more fun than it should have been. Anyway, we better leave it there. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Make sure you've got us on whatever podcatcher you listen to us on. And if you could leave us a review, that really helps us out. If you want to get in contact, cagefightingpod@gmail.com on all of the emails, and the socials are @cagefightingpod. For this week, Ash, would you like to say goodbye?
if you've made it this far, fares to you. Goodbye.
Stu, would you like to say goodbye?
Comes great responsibility. Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me too. And remember, I'll see you in another life when we're both cats.